It is the monarch that is the key to this, and the constitution that underpins the monarchy.
At long last, it is taking place. It would appear that the Queen Consort has finally been removed from Buckingham Palace on account of the years of tension and conflict that have existed between Camilla and the other members of the royal family. It is said that Princess Anne made a disturbing revelation about Camilla's actions within the royal family, which led to this decision being made. Princess Kate appears to have a low opinion of Camilla, as evidenced by her recent actions, which seem to support the move to have Camilla evicted. Although Anne has not publicly expressed her hostility towards Camilla, recent actions may suggest that she does. But how did things get to this point? In addition, what functions do Princess Anne and Princess Kate fulfill in the context of these events? Join us as we investigate the shocking revelation made by Princess Anne, as well as the tension that is building up behind the doors of the palace. If there is one thing that we have realized over the course of our lives, it is that the royal family is not synonymous with tea and garden parties, at least not in the manner that is typically depicted in the movies. Instead, it is a world of carefully managed appearances, hidden tensions, and unspoken power struggles. In this world, family loyalty is constantly tested against public duty, and a watchful audience scrutinizes every move. This audience is often unforgiving. This time around, it appears that the princesses are at odds with one another, with Camilla, the Queen Consort, and Princess Anne being at the forefront of the entire dispute. In recent times, she has been making public statements regarding her opinions regarding the Queen, and she does not appear to be hedging her words in any way. As far as we can tell, Anne is of the opinion that Camilla is not qualified to serve as Queen of the British monarchy. In light of this, she strongly recommends that no one ever refer to her as Queen. The fact of the matter is that this perspective of hers originates from the idea that Camilla and her brother were having an affair during the time that Lady Diana was still alive. On the other hand, could it be all of that? The history books have provided us with a multitude of scandal stories that involve royals. Some examples include King George IV's marriage to the Catholic widow Maria Fitzherbert, King Henry VIII's pursuit of a male heir, and how this led him to initiate the English Reformation in order to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and his marriage to Anne Boleyn, as well as a great number of other scandal stories. Therefore, it is safe to say that only a small percentage of royals have a clean wardrobe at their palace residence. To what extent does Princess Anne's perspective on Camilla differ from that of Camilla? Before we get into the specifics of how that came to be, let's take a moment to get a general idea of the royal family in the United Kingdom. There are a lot of dark truths about the royal family, and they have been a source of tension and power struggles for a very long time. You should be aware of this fact, even though the royal family may have a polished image in the eyes of the public. The fact that they are able to keep up the appearance that everything is going swimmingly among them is what makes them a subject of interest for a great number of people. To tell you the truth, the entire drama that we are witnessing with the British family did not begin during our time. This practice dates back many generations. With everything from hushed betrayals and silent feuds to historic rivalries and scandalous affairs, the history books have witnessed it all. Now, however, we are confronted with an episode that no one has ever seen coming. The entire royal family, including King Charles, Camilla, the princes, the princesses, and basically everyone else in the royal family, is affected by this unprecedented turn of events. As a consequence of this, their business dealings have evolved into something that is constantly being scrutinized by the general public. Every single movement, from making public appearances to simply exchanging glances, is being scrutinized for indications of potentially tense situations. This is precisely what has resulted in a never-ending cycle of speculation within the walls of the palace regarding alliances, personal grudges, and subtle power plays. Given the current state of affairs, the general public is eagerly anticipating royal drama, and the royal family is well aware of this fact. For this reason, they have kept up a graceful facade throughout all of these years. However, you should not be fooled by this. Inside Buckingham Palace, things are not as spotless as they appear to be on the surface. It is only after Camilla's rise to prominence as Charles's controversial companion to his Queen Consort that the rift in the royal family was officially acknowledged. If we were to make a statement, we would say that this is the case. It would appear that this did more than just create a polarized public opinion regarding the family. It also stoked the flames of resentment among members of the family. specifically the resentment that we are going to discuss in this video. Former members of the royal family, Harry and Meghan, both contribute to the overall narrative. Let's just say that their departure from royal duties has been the additional splint that has been added to the raging fire of fanaticism among the general public. In spite of the fact that their most recent interviews and statements consistently portray the royal family in a negative light, the royal family's efforts to present themselves in a glamorous manner are not really helped by this. Despite this, they have always managed to get the look of the part regardless of the circumstances. It is commonly believed that disagreements and conflicts are a common occurrence within the royal family. However, this particular instance, which many people have already considered to be typical, has turned out to be something that is not a typical argument or disagreement that the royals typically have. Instead, it is something that is significantly more profound and intense. Something that will undoubtedly cause the entire system to be reshaped as we know it. To put it simply, Princess Anne is the driving force behind this conflict. As far as we can tell, she has just made a shocking revelation about Camilla, pointing out that she is one of the threats to the royal system. It is precisely this revelation that has caused the monarchy to reevaluate Camilla's position within the legal system. Because of this, they have arrived at the conclusion that she should be expelled from the royal family. In point of fact, the situation at Buckingham Palace is a complete and utter disaster. At this very moment, there are so many different outcomes that could occur in the course of events that even observers like us are having a hard time keeping track of everything. At this point, the only thing that we completely know for sure is the sequence of events that led up to this point. It would appear that the events that have taken place have been interpreted in the same manner, indicating that a significant number of the royal families may not necessarily like Camilla or respect her position as Queen Consort. Have you been taken aback? The fact that she arrived there in the first place is a major reason why you shouldn't be concerned about her. The fact that the feud within Buckingham became so serious, as well as the fact that Princess Anne and Princess Kate have a hand in the matter, is something that you ought to be surprised about. According to previous accounts, it is reasonable to assert that Princess Anne and Princess Kate are members of the royal family who are more calm and conscientious of their responsibilities. Although Anne is known to devote the majority of her time to performing her responsibilities, Kate is considered to be the most consistent member of the family and is rarely involved in any controversy that arises from the general public. The only time she is seen in public are when she is participating in a royal ceremony or when she is volunteering for a charitable organization. To what extent did these two individuals come to play a role in ensuring Camilla's well-being at Buckingham Palace? In a moment, we are going to analyze everything that occurred during a particular time period. This is the point at which things begin to take an interesting approach. To put it simply, you do not want to be left out. The conflict between old customs and contemporary expectations. A number of principles are held in high regard by the British royal family, including the importance of duty and service, strict protocols, family unity, and privacy. However, above all of these values, tradition is the one that is most highly valued, and it is not hard to understand why this is the case. You see, traditions are what we can call the heart of the British monarchy, and they are the one thing that provides an unbroken link to centuries of history and heritage. It is almost safe to say that the royal family is at one with the generations of kings and queens that have come before them, because those traditions are being observed by the royal family. With this, they are able to further solidify their position as guardians of the British identity. Now, picture a scenario in which this connection to the royal ancestry, which normally takes the form of adhering to tradition, is severed. It is easy to see how something like that could, in a short amount of time, cause chaos in Buckingham Palace. Currently, this is the situation that the royal family is dealing with, and it appears that things have finally reached the point where they are extremely dangerous. In point of fact, the rate of decadence of the royal family's tradition was brought to the attention of the entire world during a particular event that took place in the past. In a meeting, it was discovered that Kate did not bow to Camilla as she was expected to. The royal family appeared to be intentionally neglecting the princess, which resulted in a great deal of staring and whispering among the members of the royal family. Many of them even gave the princess the look of caution. The question is, how is it that something as insignificant as a bow could cause such a commotion inside of an event? As far as I can tell, it is still a matter of tradition. It is important to note that bowing or curtsying is considered a sign of respect among royals. However, this is not the only way that it is used. Not only is it a sign of respect, but it is also a ritual and a duty that is being performed in order to illustrate the hierarchy of the royals within the monarchy. Theoretically, what this basically means is that you should be able to determine who is higher in the hierarchy of the royal system based on the manner in which royals bow to each other. As things currently stand, Camilla, the Queen Consort, holds a higher position than Princess Kate. As a result, it was anticipated that she would bow immediately upon meeting Camilla, and then bow once more after they had parted ways with each other. However, that did not take place. In its place, Kate simply gave the Queen Consort a subtle nod when they first had the opportunity to meet. Although it is true that this gesture is likely to be disregarded by a large number of people, this does not mean that it is acceptable as a gesture. On the other hand, this is Princess Kate Middleton, and we are discussing it right now. She had the opportunity to learn about all of the traditions that are associated with the British royal family because she was married to Prince William and had ascended to the throne to become the Duchess of Cambridge and the Princess of Wales. The evidence may have been gathered from public events or even from family get-togethers. In any case, there is. She has always been surrounded by the history of the royal family. On the other hand, here she was, confidently looking the Queen Consort in the eye while ignoring one of the most important things, which was bowing. To tell you the truth, this sacrilegious act could only have one meaning to both thee and the general public. The position of Queen Consort held by Camilla is not something that Princess Kate is happy about. In the event that Lady Diana had been the Queen Consort, it is possible that the entire scenario would have presented itself in a different manner. Don't you think that's it? It is something that we have come to understand, that the majority of the royals do not really like Camilla, particularly because of the manner in which she was able to ascend to the throne. From time to time, not only the royal family but also the general public can't help but ponder the possibility that Lady Diana could have been acting as the Queen Consort. If things had gone differently, there would have been less tension in Buckingham Palace. There is no doubt that things could have turned out differently. When everything is taken into consideration, it is possible that the fortunes of the princes would have been different. It is possible that Prince Harry would not have left the palace, and that the princes would not have been involved in as many disagreements around the clock. That being said, let us assume that the princess had approached Camilla with this frame of mind. It's possible that this is the reason why she behaved in that manner. However, we are making a concerted effort to refrain from offering Princess Kate any excuses in this regard. Considering the current state of affairs, it is highly probable that Princess Kate will be the future Queen Consort after Prince William becomes king. To put it another way, she is attempting to portray herself as a model for those who will succeed her in the line of succession. Having said that, it would not be equitable to always put feelings first before making decisions concerning matters pertaining to the royal family. In its place, she is expected to make sacrifices in order to guarantee that Buckingham Palace is conducted in accordance with the highest standards of law and order. While we are currently discussing all of the factors that must have led to the neglect, let us not discount the possibility that she may have simply made the decision to disregard bowing altogether. King Charles has been at the helm of the royal monarchy system in recent years, and it is common knowledge that this system has been undergoing a transformation in recent years. Their objective is to make certain that their mode of operation is in some way compatible with the way things are in the 21st century. As a result of these shifts, we anticipate that the ideologies will evolve and adopt newer ones that are more compatible with the way of life that is currently prevalent. Nevertheless, while they are working towards this goal, another objective is to make certain that the transition itself does not in any way have an impact on the fundamental principles that define the monarchy system in the United Kingdom. Having said that, it is possible that bowing is one of those traditions that is looking to be curved out from the way things are currently done. Taking a look at the situation from the outside, it appears that the general public has a different reaction to the decision that Kate has made. It appears that in this day and age, when it is expected of the royal family to conform to contemporary norms, there are those who find it refreshing when members of the royal family are given the opportunity to stand out and defy established protocols. The purpose of this rebellion, in their view, is to demonstrate that there are, in fact, royals who have their own unique thoughts, and that they are not all puppet heads who have been fed centuries' worth of pages of traditions and values to adhere to. When it comes down to it, it all comes down to what they find relatable and which member of the royal family stands out the most. On the other hand, This does not alter the fact that there are a great number of people who have a strong belief in the royal system and who place a high value on the formality and structure that gestures represent. They believe that the act of curtsying is not only about showing respect for a single person, but also about upholding traditions that date back hundreds of years. As a result, they are of the opinion that no royal should ever consider themselves superior to these customs that have been practiced for an entire lifetime. Conversely, as the family's influence grows, everyone is expected to be more particular about their stance on protocols relating to the monarchy. This is because the monarchy is a very important institution. Even taking into account everything that is anticipated from the princess, it is safe to say that the controversy that has surrounded her and Camilla is more than just a question of proper etiquette. Rather, it is a glimpse into the potential development of the monarchy. There is a good chance that the gradual transitioning will continue along with the rise of the younger generation as time goes on. Is that going to take place quickly? How quickly and to what extent the royal family is accepted is a factor that will determine the outcome. When we talk about the royals who might be having a difficult time accepting just about anything or anyone in Buckingham Palace, it turns out that Princess Anne has also demonstrated a significant amount of displeasure towards Camilla. After she made a disturbing revelation about the Queen Consort, it appears that this information was brought to the attention of the monarch as well as the general public. It is possible that Princess Anne did not necessarily consider the ultimate consequence and repercussions to be an eviction, despite the fact that the initial intention of the revelation may have been to have the monarch call Camilla back to order. Camilla's mood has become so gloomy. What caused this? And in the eyes of Princess Anne, what exactly was it that she had done wrong? The drama surrounding the royal family is only going to get better from here on out. Simply make an effort to avoid missing out on the juicy details. The revelation made by Princess Anne, not to mention the consequences for Camilla. When looking at the relationships that exist within Buckingham Palace, it is difficult to deny that Camilla and Princess Anne are not exactly the best of friends. It's not just Camilla, as a matter of fact. The strict beliefs and no-nonsense attitude that Princess Anne possesses frequently make it challenging for her to develop close relationships with members of her family. Her unwavering commitment to duty and unwavering principles have served as a compass for her throughout her entire royal career. As a result of her unwavering commitment, she has been elevated to a position of respect within the family. Because of the way she approaches things, every member acknowledges her contributions and shows her the respect that she has justly earned over the course of her membership. However, the issue is that Anne has demonstrated that she is an extremist when it comes to matters concerning the monarchy, despite the fact that her approach to her responsibilities has been commendable over the course of the years. Having said that, Princess Anne is always determined to eliminate any obstacle that may pose a threat to the royal family. She is completely committed to this goal. From Anne's perspective, the Queen Consort Camilla is the most significant danger that the royal family must contend with at the moment. Immediately following the altercation that she had with Queen Camilla at the coronation dinner, we were made aware of this perspective that she holds. Due to the intensity of the argument, it became abundantly clear that Camilla's influence had been diminishing for a considerable amount of time in the eyes of the royals. We were able to see just how deep the fault lines within the family ran as Charles ascended to the throne, despite the fact that it is quite uncertain how far back the tension that had filled halls had been brewing. However, how did this come about? During the time that Anne confronted Camilla, Camilla was essentially getting ready to accept her roles, and she hardly expressed any concerns at all. To be more specific, what was the reason that Anne confronted her? It is simply due to the fact that their values are in direct opposition to one another. There is a difference of opinion between Anne and Camilla regarding the values that the monarchy ought to uphold. As far as Anne is concerned, she has always been a defender of tradition, and she is the type of person who never hesitates to express her opinions when she believes that royal values have been compromised. As a result of the fact that she witnessed her mother, Queen Elizabeth, exemplify these principles throughout the 7 decades that she ruled as queen, it is possible to say that she is more able to recognize these compromises. If we are going to discuss the issue that Princess Anne has with Camilla, it is without a doubt with regard to the controversies that she has been involved in the past, and the path that she has taken to become Queen Consort. According to Princess Anne, these characteristics are detrimental to the image that the monarchy has worked so hard to cultivate over the course of many years. Anne is said to have confronted Camilla during the dinner that was held to celebrate the coronation, expressing her concerns about the message that her elevated role sent to the general public. The truth of the matter is that Anne was troubled by more than just Camilla's history to begin with. It was the way that she approached the role with a laid-back attitude, as well as her contemporary and, at times, almost casual attitude towards royal responsibilities. Anne was of the opinion that Camilla's significant participation in the coronation proceedings would give rise to a notion that, in her opinion, would be detrimental to the long-standing principles of the monarchy. Even though the coronation was acute, the whispers and the tension in the air were even more acute while these two were engaged in their conflict. In spite of the fact that the coronation was supposed to be a time of celebration and unity, it brought to light the discord that had been simmering beneath the surface. In contrast to Princess Kate, it was abundantly clear that Anne's disapproval was not merely a matter of tradition versus modernity. It had a deeper personal significance, stemming from the fact that Camilla had spent years observing the influence that Charles's relationship had on their family. In light of the fact that her mother is no longer alive and that her brother Charles is now the king, Anne is of the opinion that it is her responsibility to safeguard the principles and protect the standards that her mother had established. And she is not going to let anyone, not even the new Queen Consort, stop her from achieving her goals. At the same time that Anne is making efforts to preserve the status quo within Buckingham Palace, she is also displaying a great deal of caution regarding Camilla's influence over Charles. As a result of Anne's revelation, it is now clear that she wields a significant amount of power through her husband, the king. It is for this reason that the goal is to make certain that the decisions made by the king, which are currently self-serving, are changed back to decisions that are in the best interests of the monarchy. The situation that is taking place in Buckingham Palace is a serious one, and just to demonstrate how serious it is, Princess Anne has maintained her stance and has never referred to Camilla as queen, but rather as Queen Consort all throughout this entire process. She goes so far as to pass on the habit to others, preaching about how Camilla will never be able to live up to the expectations of her mother and how she is not qualified to hold the title of queen. Do you agree that it's pretty crazy? The consequences of the altercation have been felt far beyond the confines of the royal dinner table. The public and the media seized on the exchange as it spread, portraying Anne as the defender of royal integrity and Camilla as the disruptive influence challenging it. This occurred as the knowledge of the exchange spread. It appears that this particular portrayal by the media is what everyone has been using to judge the two. But there is one thing that the media has failed to notice, and that is the fact that the whole thing did not just die down at the dinner table. The current situation may lead some people to believe that Queen Camilla's recent illness and her decision to withdraw from important royal engagements are more than just a matter of concern for her health. In light of the tensions that have arisen within the royal family, particularly with regard to Princess Anne, it is possible that her absence is indicative of a strategic reorganization within the monarchy. Give it some thought. As of late, Camilla has been forced to withdraw from appearances at important events, including the Field of Remembrance and a high-profile reception for British athletes who have won medals at the Olympic and Paralympic athletic competitions. In addition, Buckingham Palace has consistently stated that a chest infection is the reason for her absence throughout this entire period. There are rumors that Princess Anne's confrontation may have finally been the final straw for the monarch to remove Camilla from power. This retreat from public duties is consistent with those rumors, even though it may not be official yet. At the end of the day, if this decision made by the monarch turns out to be accurate, it would be their own way of ensuring that the principles that the royal family upholds are safeguarded and that the legacy that Queen Elizabeth left behind is not diminished in any way. In light of Camilla's departure from the royal family, what are your thoughts? Is it your opinion that the monarchy made the appropriate decision? We would be delighted if you could make your thoughts known in the comment section. It would be greatly appreciated if you would give this video a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channels. In addition, click the following video that appears on your screen. You are going to take pleasure in it.